Hello and welcome. Thank you for taking the time. They are afraid. They're very afraid. And when I say they, who is they? These are the people, the global elites, the globalists, the World Economic Forum representatives and their puppets and their touts, the ones that are scattered, that have infiltrated every single system around the world, whether it's a democracy, whether it's a dictatorship, whether it's communism or socialism. One way or the other, these people have somehow infiltrated every single system. But I'm going to talk about specifically about Europe and North America. Being a Canadian, I'll tell you from the perspective of Canada, but you will see the similarities, whatever's happening. First thing, you see a lot of draconian rules, laws, and regulations coming into being. In the UK, you have seen the Online Harms Act and the Cybersecurity Act and the act and the laws, regulations to stop the flow of cash and use of cash. Pretty much same thing is happening here in Canada as well. And there have been bills that have been passed secretly, not even openly, to restrict your access to internet, to restrict your access to everyday life. If groceries, gas, and cost of living wasn't enough, rest of the things are slowly and steadily being pushed out of your reach. Now, recently, the province of Ontario, there are rumors that there has been a regulation that has been passed that gives landlords more power as compared to the tenants, where the landlords can void the lease at any time and evict the tenants. Now, this is a very good news for landlords on one perspective. For the tenants that are unable to pay or don't pay are not good tenants. But coming up to the big corporations and the big real estate companies that own multiple buildings with multiple units, and when they want to evict someone who is on a rent that can only legally be increased in province of Ontario, it's 2.5% per year, if I'm not wrong, and that doesn't fill their pockets that much, or their greed is not satisfied with just 2.5% per annum. So what they would do is the newer units that they're building, they would be on a higher price. So why would they let the old grandfathered units still sit on old low rents? So rent control, that would be a thing of history with this thing. So there goes housing. And when housing goes out of your reach, as if owning a house was a problem, now renting is a problem as well. And that gives a certain group of people in this society who are already rich and getting richer a method to pocket even more money and evict the tenants. Even if they're good tenants, good paying tenants, they can still refuse to renew their lease and tell them to evict so that they can have those units rented out again at higher price. But at the same time, the question comes, when there is a slowdown in the market where units cannot be rented, the ones that are available because people can't afford them, when more such units come onto the market after evictions, what will happen then? That's my only question. So, having said this, so when housing goes out of your reach, cost of living goes out of your reach, that's when the government will come in as your savior, and they will say, okay, we'll provide you with shoe boxes to live in, we'll provide you with diets because we will determine what do you eat and when do you eat, and we will determine where you can go and where you cannot go, hence the 15-minute cities. This is the perfect combination of these things that are happening, and seemingly it is being pushed towards this. So this is my conspiracy theory, that all of these regulations that are coming in one way or the other, they all end up at the same point. All of these scattered lines all converge at the same point. The World Economic Forum agenda: own nothing and be happy. That being said and done, another thing is mass immigration, the inflow of newcomers, to burden the society, to just have the resources so overwhelmed with uncontrolled immigration that it either collapses or goes to the verge of collapse. So it gives government more control because that is a perfect recipe for creating chaos. Here in Canada, it is kind of already out of control and the system has already approached its verge. On the other hand, in Europe, if you're watching this, any part, England, um, Germany, Spain, Italy, Hungary, no matter which part of Europe you're in, you can relate to this, what is happening. In North America, our neighbors, they have already experienced this during Biden administration where uncontrolled immigration created chaos. And the only thing common that first happened was the rise in crime rates. Now, all of these things, and then on top of this, whoever points to this on social media, there's a strong censorship. Oh, it's in the name of cybersecurity, it's in the name of Online Harms Act or hate speech or any such thing. There are certain words that are in your videos that go through an AI. No live person is monitoring your videos or anything. They're only reviewed when you do an appeal and it's a special case. Otherwise, it's AI all over the place. They look for keywords being used in the speech, and then the censorship comes into play. So all of this being said and done, once the elites think that they have control, then they will bring in the next step, which is next on the World Economic Forum, where the government will take over and government will become your provider, digital ID, your digital currency, and own nothing and be happy, and the government owning everything. And then finally to a global central government. If none of this is possible, if people retaliate and if people start rising, guess what they'll do? As it happened in between 1929 up till the start of World War One, when people were rising and there were demonstrations and people were demanding their rights. What happened? They took you to war. This time they have the flashpoints: Ukraine, Palestine, Middle East, China, everywhere. So they have those flashpoints just ready. And if things start getting out of hand and if they cannot retain their control and people retaliate too much, then guess what? They're taking you to war. So it's a win-win for them in every situation and lose-lose for us. But then again, let's see what people have to say in return and what people come up with. But this is what I wanted to put out there so that people can let me know what they think. Till next time, take care. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.